What if acting like a millionaire wasn't dependent on you actually being a millionaire? Most people wait until they have money before they start acting like they have it, and by then it's usually too late. The secret is a mindset that bends opportunity towards you, even when your checking account is running on empty. Building the right mindset now so that when you finally do make that fortune, you don't throw it away faster than you earned it. Today, we're building that mindset. Welcome back to the Money Compendium, your introduction to the weird, practical habits that separate the financially free from the forever broke. If you've ever felt small next to a giant bank balance, good. You're exactly where you need to be. Let's get into 10 ways to act like a millionaire. Number 1. See money as a tool, not a trophy. Then use it like a lever. Most people grow up taught to chase money as an end. Get rich, then be happy. Millionaires treat money as an instrument, a lever that buys time, options, and opportunity. Think of it this way. A dollar sitting under your mattress is wasted potential. Hundreds of dollars and all you have is a lumpy mattress. But every dollar invested is a little money engine building your wealth with very little effort. I've studied dozens of small business founders who started with pocket change and one smart decision. They bought supplies in bulk, tested a tiny market, then scaled. The common move isn't luck. It's using modest cash to buy leverage, tools, inventory, or time. So ask yourself before you spend today, what will this dollar do for me tomorrow? That question changes the way you spend and how wealth finds you. Up next, the single most underrated currency for future riches. Number 2, prioritize learning over immediate earning. Stack skills, not bills. If you're broke, the best currency you can accumulate is competence. Millionaires stack skills like bricks, not for show, but so the walls they build can carry weight. Instead of taking the highest paycheck right away, many wealthy builders chose short-term sacrifice for long-term capability. Internships, side projects, cheap or free education, micro-certifications. Invest time in skills that let you charge more per hour later. Coding, sales, copywriting, system design. You're not paying tuition to a school. You're buying leverage that compounds. You can take the long route with a 4+ year degree, as long as you pick your major well and stay focused on getting in and getting out as quickly as possible. Or you can invest in 1 or 2 helpful coding boot camps. As long as you gain an in-demand skill that boosts your earning potential, you can't go wrong. Treat learning like a compound interest account for your career. And speaking of compounding over time, the millionaire mindset sees a very different timeline for wealth building than many think. Number 3, think in decades, not days. Let time be your teammate. We live on a 24-hour dopamine diet. The next like, the next side hustle, instant wins. Most millionaires that started with little play the long game. They buy boring, compounding assets and forget about them. Put simply, start early, automate contributions, and let the market's long-run growth do the heavy lifting. The math is brutal yet beautiful. Small, consistent contributions over decades beat frantic trading and timing attempts. But it's not just finance. The same patience applies to relationships, reputations, and businesses. Ask yourself, will this decision matter in 1 year, 5, 20? That filter kills bad impulse moves and amplifies the ones that actually build generational value. Once you master long-term thinking, you start asking the right question about every opportunity. Is this a sprint or a long-term legacy play? Number 4, make decisions with leverage in mind. Millionaires don't obsess over being busy just to be busy. They ask, what gives the biggest ROI on time, money, or energy? Just a quick side note. For those of you newer to the financial jargon, ROI means return on investment. So how much you get back from what you put into something. And that includes your time, money, effort, etc. It doesn't matter what it is. If you sacrifice something, you want to get something back. Hopefully, more than you put in. Okay, back to the subject at hand. Leverage. Leverage can be anything from an online financial funnel that sells 1,000 copies with one ad, a template that streamlines your workflow and saves you 8 hours per week, or a small investment that scales through technology. Think of someone who spends $900 on a course that teaches them to build a system that earns $8,000 a month. That's buying leverage. That's turning a one-time cost into recurring returns. Leverage is also saying no to tasks that shortens your runway. So before you grind tonight, ask yourself, am I building something that will work when I sleep? If the answer is no, pivot and try to find something that offers you more leverage, and use it deliberately. And when leverage hits resistance, you'll need to get comfortable with the next habit. Number 5. Fail loud, fail fast, treat failure like tuition. Millionaires expect failure. They don't worship it, but they don't hide from it either. Failure is not a verdict, it's feedback. The difference is how you interpret it. The person who folds after one flop sees failure as identity. The person who iterates sees it as data. Successful founders launch cheap tests, measure ruthlessly, and pivot quickly. That's why many billion-dollar companies were once failed versions of themselves. So reframe your relationship to failure. Pay the tuition, gather the lesson, and scale the parts that actually work. And yes, you'll probably feel the sting. And it'll hurt, but that's normal. That sting means you're on the right track even if it doesn't seem like it at first. So just grit your teeth and don't back down. Build your courage and act like you can't lose no matter what. And when you do hit that inevitable bump in the road, just bite down harder, take your lesson, and come back stronger than ever. See the pattern yet? None of these habits requires a fat bank account. They require clarity, courage, and consistency. If you've watched this far, you're not a spectator, you're a builder. We're building a tribe that thinks differently, acts boldly, and supports each other. If this is giving you value, smash that like button, subscribe, and tag one friend who needs this mindset. Your support funds more content like this and helps grow a movement that teaches people to win with dignity, not hustle theatrics. Number 6. Control your circle of influence. Obsess over what you can control. The quickest shortcut to momentum isn't a better job or a lucky break. It's mastering what you have at this very moment. Yourself, your time, your effort. Most people waste energy blaming the economy, the boss, or the algorithm. Millionaire thinkers take the opposite approach. They audit their inputs and double down on the things they can control: skills, time, output, and daily routines. Imagine the late-night glow of a laptop, the hum of headphones, and someone turning their layoff into an advantage. They learn a marketable skill from free tutorials, build a tiny portfolio, then convert gigs into steady clients. You can do that too. Here's something you can try. List 3 skills you can learn in 60 to 90 days, commit to 30 minutes daily, and publish one small proof project in week 6, a short video, a landing page, a cold email case study. Those small wins become momentum. Momentum becomes optionality. Once you control your inputs, the next move is to curate the world that feeds your thinking. Number 7. Audit your environment. Your network is your net worth. If you want richer thinking, stop drinking from the same shallow well. Who you spend time with and what you consume becomes your mental furniture. Millionaire thinking often starts with a ruthless environment audit. Your social feed, your calendar, your 5 closest contacts. One common change people make is swapping complaint-heavy hangouts for weekly meetups with people building businesses, or swapping doom scrolling for a 20-minute morning read of an industry newsletter. Do a 30-day input cleanse. Unfollow 3 accounts that drag you down, add 1 weekly mastermind or local meetup to your calendar, and schedule 2 deep convo coffees a month with people doing what you want to do. The subtle result is huge. Your goals stop being dreams and start becoming the currency of your conversations. That change in your inputs makes the next work, rewriting your money psychology, not just possible, but inevitable. If this is landing, and you feel that spark that says, I can change this, do something small right now. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your one click helps someone else find the same clarity you just found. Now let's rewire what actually runs your decisions. Number 8. Study the psychology of money. Rewrite your money scripts. Money problems are often identity problems in disguise. The richest people don't only study spreadsheets, they study how people behave with money. Childhood messages like, money is the root of evil, or we don't talk about money, create money scripts that silently steer decisions. Try to journal a week of spending, then annotate each purchase with the feeling behind it: shame, reward, boredom, or validation. Ask, where did that belief come from? Replace the script by running 30-day experiments. For example, a no-guilt investing challenge where you automate $50 a week and track how you feel after 4 weeks. Read one short, well-regarded book like The Psychology of Money to reframe narratives. Consider a coach or therapist if a script runs deep. Rewriting these internal rules doesn't feel dramatic at first, but it compounds faster than any stock. Once you change your inner pilot, your questions change, and that's the next habit. Number 9. Ask better questions. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Stop asking whether you can afford it. Start asking how you can afford it. Millionaire thinkers use questions to open doors, not close them. Replace, "Can I do that?" with, "How can I make that possible?" or "Who can help me get there?" A simple, powerful framework. Write the desired outcome at the top of a page, then ask 5 "How might I?" questions. Force wild, small, and practical ideas. How might I afford that trip in 6 months? Could yield. Sell a skill on weekends, automate savings, negotiate a short-term rate raise, or swap subscriptions. Practice the "What would this look like if it were easy?" prompt to remove unnecessary friction. Then convert one of the how answers into a 7-day task: a cold email, a listing, a prototype. Questions generate options. Options generate leverage. And when you pair the right questions with aligned behavior, you step into the final, catalytic habit. Number 10. Act as if. Behave your way into becoming the person you aim to be. The future doesn't arrive on its own. Your action slowly brings it into existence. Acting as if is not fake positivity or reckless spending. It's behavioral alignment. You simply act as if you've already won. You already have it all. Ask yourself what that would look like. Learn the skills you need to balance your checkbooks or make smart long-term investments before you even have the money to invest. Show up in ways that match the life you want. Schedule the meetings, dress for the role, publish content, call potential partners like you're already serious. Start small. A 90-day act-as-if sprint to the finish won't help you for very long. Like most big endeavors, whether it's getting an education or building an empire, this should feel like a marathon, not a race. You need to make acting as if a consistent habit if you want any real, lasting results. Define 3 behaviors your future self does: sends weekly emails, hosts calls, invests X dollars, and commit to them for 90 days. Track the outcomes, not to prove you were right, but to create a feedback loop that rewires identity. Act as if should be grounded. Don't try to buy a lifestyle you can't yet afford. Buy the habits of that lifestyle. Do the work, show up consistently, and the world begins to treat you like the thing you act as. These 10 habits are the scaffolding. Now let's pull them together. Today, we learned that millionaire thinking is not an exclusivity club. It's a set of practical moves anyone can copy. We covered the tools you need to reach your financial goals as well as some ways to build and use those skills practically. Now, it's up to you to put it all together. So your assignment is simple and urgent. Choose one habit from this video, make a 30 to 90-day commitment, and tell us in the comments what you're doing. That public promise will do more for your follow-through than 1,000 motivational quotes. Remember, you don't need a trust fund. You don't need to strike oil. You need clarity, courage, and a plan that turns thought into action. If this lit in you the kind of fire you want to feed, hit like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who's ready to stop complaining and start building. Join the tribe. We're not just changing bank accounts, we're changing minds. Your future self will thank you for the decision you made today.